Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and happy new month to you wherever you are right now. It's a privilege to be here again for another interesting, impacting, and wonderful episode once again here on Jinsei Matters with Roy. I'm so glad to be here. In fact, I'm really excited for this special episode that we'll be having today. It's a practical topic, and if you can see me well, if you can hear me clearly, oh, not just me. I'm here with our special guest of honor today, who will also be sharing with us from their wealth of experience. And I would like you guys to join me in welcoming this wonderful power couple, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji. Guys, join me in welcoming them. Thank you very much, Sir and Ma, for the opportunity to have you once again with us on the show. We'd like you to briefly introduce yourself to all our viewers out there, especially for the sake of people who do not know you. People who will be seeing you, will be hearing you for the first time. Briefly introduce yourself to us. Sign, Ma, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, our host. Thank you for inviting us. And now that we are talking about complimenting one another, I want my wife to compliment me today and introduce me. I'm
Thank you
putting her
very
on the
much,
spot.
sir. Mm.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and everyone wherever you are in the world. Um, my name is Adebumi, and here's my husband Adefola in Bolaji. We both live in Massachusetts, United States. We have three kids, two boys and one girl. Um, what else? Our profession, yeah, we are computer people, sort of. Yeah, so I'm a data scientist and is a cybersecurity engineer.
Wow.
Thank you.
Interesting. Wow. Guys, can you see that? It's going to be an interesting discussion today from the topic on the flyer. You can guess how interesting it's going to be today. So, guys, if you have anyone around you, a colleague at work, your siblings, or possibly your friends that you know is going to benefit greatly from the discussion today, don't hesitate to share this video out with them. Tell them that we are live and we really appreciate it if you can join us on the show or possibly watch the replay of this live session. So, guys, like I said earlier, my name is Rhoda and still your favorite YouTube presenter on Jinsei Matters with Roy. Let's just dive into this discussion right away. So, like I said earlier, today we are looking at why
Mhm.
you should compliment your spouse. Yes, it's a practical one. And to start with, you will discover that there is a difference between compliments and complimenting your spouse. It's so funny how two letters can make a difference in a word. Compliments and complimenting your spouse. So, today, for the sake of today's discussion, we are considering how 1 plus 1 can make 2. and but for the, yeah, speaking biblically, 1 plus 1 becomes 1. But then bringing it into marriage, what are those things? How and why should you compliment your spouse, whether as the husband or as the wife? For the discussion today, we are not looking at okay, thank you, I love you, you did this, I really appreciate it, but rather why you need to support your spouse so that the both of you can achieve a common goal. Possibly you are a teacher, he's an engineer, he expects you to learn some skills so that you can at least meet up to his standard, or for the goal of the family, why you need to compliment your spouse. So I would like to hear from our guest speakers for today's discussion. Over to you, sir and Ma. Let's hear from you. Why should
Thank you.
spouses complement one another in a Christian marital relationship?
Thank you so much, our host. We really appreciate this opportunity once again. And this topic is interesting, though it's very broad, but I think it's a very interesting topic, complementing one another as husband and wife. And I remember growing up on our family chef when I was like 6 years old, and 5 years, 6 years, I was still learning my arithmetic. And there is a book on our family chef that my parents had. It says 1 plus 1 is equal to 1. That book messed my mentality. It messed it up for some time. I would just continue to think, why should it be? Because I was so small, I don't even understand what marriage what marriage was all about. Because I asked my parents and they were trying to explain it, but I could not comprehend it. So for a long time, it was messing me up. 1 plus 1 equal to 1. And that is actually Christian marriage. That is what it's all about. Somebody that doesn't understand that is yet to understand what marriage is all about. Unfortunately, in this generation, people are growing up with the mindset of my thing is thing, my thing, her things. And you want to settle down, you want to have a lasting marriage, and I beg to say that that may not work, and the marriage may not last. It may not even be an exemplary marriage because at the end of the day, this person is chasing A, that person is chasing B, and what they should have achieved within 5 years, they are spending 25 years to achieve. So, even as a Christian, the Bible says one can chase 1,000 and two can chase 10,000. There is a multiplying power, multiplying effect of working together. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 that two are better than one. They have great reward for their efforts. So when we are talking about two, it's very, very important that we should understand what we want to get into if we are talking about marriage. Nowadays, especially in the developed countries, many people are running away from marriage because of responsibilities. Many people are trying to say, oh, let's just keep being boyfriend and girlfriend. And then they will be giving birth to children. They are still boyfriend and girlfriend. They are living together in the same house for 10 years, for 15 years. They are still boyfriend and girlfriend. You'll be seeing people that are 50 years old that are saying that, oh, let me go and meet my girlfriend or let me go and meet my boyfriend, and things are getting messed up. But for us Christians, we need to know what we are doing and we need to face the reality. And the reality we need to face is the fact that if you are getting into a relationship and this relationship is going to be a marriage relationship, then you need to know that you are becoming one. You are going to join your mind, you are going to join your heart, you are going to join your resources, you are going to join your materials, and you are going to join your future. Everybody needs to come with their goals and say, okay, let's align our goals. And when that is aligned, then you can begin to say, okay, how can I come in to make sure that we achieve this goal? Where can I come in to make sure that we achieve this goal and all of those things? So those are the things that I want to use as the introduction into this topic. So I will allow my wife to talk.
Okay. Why should husband and wife complement each other? I think at the root of the word complement is complete. A husband and wife that don't complement one another cannot be complete. And an example that strike that home for me well are the two eyes that we have. Each of the eye as an individual can see, but the vision you have when both eyes are looking at the same direction is different from when my if I close my I can still see, but what my right eye can see is limited. The same way, if I close my right eye, my left eye can still see. I can still see the screen, but the vision is limited in some way. But when both of my eyes are open and they are looking together, they complete my vision. They give me a complete vision. And that is something that strike it really home for me. And I see that um, that's the reason why marriage is a pair, right? It is a pair of people who come together to complete one another. So it's important, like my husband said, anybody that is not looking at that aspect of completion does not really or fully understand the concept behind marriage, because you are an incomplete person as long as you are you. There is something God brings you together for, and if you don't complement one another, you cannot achieve that goal.
Mm.
Yeah, I want to add to that, like the illustration she used, that's a very wonderful illustration. The highs, completeness. The same thing about the hair. The hair that we have, as small as they may look, they are actually helping us to balance. When one hair has problem, you may not be able to walk well because your body is not going to be balanced. So if husband and wife are not complementing one another, the family can be balanced. The family will be struggling. You will be trying to maintain your balance, but no way because you are not complementing. So God that created our body and created some senses to be two, know what all of those are going to achieve. And that is the reason why God eventually says it's not good for a man to be alone. I need somebody to be with him because the power of two is very, very great. And if you can harness the power of two, definitely a lot of family will be doing fine today. And a lot of people will produce wonderful children.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir and Ma, for that wonderful contributions, for the wonderful contributions. So now we all understand that in marriage, in a particular marriage, the husband might be the outgoing person, the wife might be the little reserved kind of person. And now going into the marriage, the both of them come together, and the wife feels, oh, I just want to be left alone. I want to be in my space. I don't want any interruption. I don't want to be disturbed in any way. And looking at the husband who is the outgoing person, the wife doesn't even see it like, oh, I will get into this marriage and someone will be bugging me and disturbing me that I should do this for the sake of the family. Must I do this? And the husband is also trying to prove his own ego, and the wife is like, oh, you are disturbing me. Oh, you're disturbing me for crying out loud. Why would you just want me to get out of my comfort zone? Some people do not even see it this way. They believe, let me just go into this marriage. The man is should be the breadwinner. The man should be able to do this and handle this aspect of the marriage. For me, I'm just there to assist him, to be his helpmeet. But getting into the marriage, they discovered, oh, the man wants the wife to acquire other skills to be able to achieve possibly the financial goals of the family. So now, how will people like this, maybe the wife, it can even be the husband, the wife might be the outspoken type and the husband is the reserved type, how will these people begin to see the need for them to come together to be able to achieve this goal without tearing the home apart?
Thank you so much. You brought so many things
Yeah.
together.
I wanted to say a lot.
So many things together. And if care is not taken, we may not
Yes.
be able to get to the specific. So eventually you will see repeat some of them, and that will be at the level of breaking them down.
Mhm.
But I know my wife was smiling when you were raising those questions. Maybe you
I
want to.
was no, I actually remembered a video that was sent to me sometimes late last year by my husband's elder brother. Like all of these short videos of like a marriage program, and they asked the wife that what
I
do you
also
see
remember
in
the
your
same.
husband, like what is the complaint, what do you want your husband to change? And the wife was like, I want my husband talks
Talk too
too
much.
much, like I want him to change, like he talks too much. They said, what do you want your wife to change? The husband was like, the major gift, the concentration of all the gift that God gave him is in his mouth. So what he wants his wife to change is that his wife is too quiet. And they've been married for 7 years. And it's like that's the beauty of one actually. The first thing I want to emphasize there before we go into other things is some form of complimenting actually requires a change. But not every form of complimenting requires a change because it is a difference. I know there's why opposite attracts, and there's several talks around why opposite people attract. Because usually you don't have become attracted to you in another person because it's not that you have an hatred for that thing. It is just not a strength you have. And I remember for myself and my husband. So anybody that knows me will first of all think that I'm a very quiet person and reserved person, and I can be. It's just that I have this residual. I can entertain people. I can enter into a room and make it rouse, but it is just an intrinsic nature in me. That's not the natural me. I remember while growing up, there's a particular friend that I had who visits our house a lot. And the person made a comment one day. She said, he has never come to our house and meet me sitting in the living room. I'm always in the bedroom. They always come to call me out from the bedroom. So it's like, what do you do in the bedroom? And I can live my life on the bed, literally. That's the kind of person I am. But my husband is the opposite. You always see him in the living room, except he's somewhere else in the house doing something. He's that kind of person. Now, when we got married, we'll have guests. I love entertaining guests. I can cook, I can do this, but I'm not the one that will be entertaining them with a talk. So anytime we're going to have a guest and he's on a phone call, I'll just like, hey, go and do your thing. Like, go and sit in the sitting room. I don't need him in the kitchen. I enjoy like making the food, getting them entertained in that place. But having somebody sit with them in the sitting room, like to sustain a conversation for a while, I need him to do that because that is like a special skill that he has. But does that mean if somebody comes to visit us and is not at home, I won't sit with them and chat with them? Of course, I will. And I can. They always say, yeah, most of our friends always say that don't start with Brofola because his sister Bumi should enter into that conversation, it will become another thing. But I need a starter. That's something for me. If I don't get the starter, I can be seated there and some people will be like, oh, she's so quiet, she's so gentle. But I just need a starter. And that is him for me. That is where it complements me. Now, it won't be like the best me if he's not there to do the starter. But if as long as it's there to do the startup, yeah, you put me in action, I'm alive. I can mess people up. I can joke with people and they'll be like, Sabumi, you need to stop now. But that is how we complement one another. So that my first point of emphasis is complementing is actually, like I said, completing. So not every form of complementing requires a change in each person. It just requires understanding what one person's strength is and what the other person's weakness is and how they both work um to make a good atmosphere, kind of like
Yeah.
if you have the two of us together, you have the full gig, you have the full having. So let me just stop at that point and you can talk
Yeah,
about some other
yeah. I
things.
really appreciate the point, the side where she came from, and that is really exciting. And that will make me to share some other things with us here that is very important. And that is the fact that people can change. People can change. I remembered that when my wife was telling me about, even before she got to know me, when she was praying about who to marry, and eventually when she was beginning to see who she was going to get married to, one thing that was on her mind is she really does not want the SU,
SU brothers,
SU brothers.
they are
SU.
kind of very boring.
Boring. That is to her that the SU brother. And I was an SU brother. I was a complete SU brother.
Oh my god, I can
Because she believed
imagine.
that, yeah, SU brothers are not romantic. They are like, how are you? How are you
Have you prayed
doing? Have
today?
you
How was
They're
your
always
quiet
prayed?
time?
wearing big shirts.
Yeah. So all those kind of thing. But that was a mind, that was a thought. And now getting led to somebody like me, and she was like, oh, this is not the kind of person I thought I want to get married to and things like that. I remember the first time that she was meeting me, really meeting me, and she got to my brother's house when they were in college together, and she was like, "Oh, your younger brother is around. Oh, where is he?" I said, "Ah, he's somewhere praying inside the room."
And
Oh,
I was like, okay.
okay. And I was there for long, and eventually when I came out,
The
and
bra came out. I
I
wanted to shake him, and he was like, sorry, it doesn't shake. I'm like, oh, really?
Oh my god.
so at that That time I was not shaking. I don't shake ladies. I don't hug. I don't do anything. I was like, oh, how are you? And okay. And at the end of the day, we got married. The same me, I'm now the starter. The same me, I'm now the jovial person because we rubbed on one another and eventually we moved. My wife, the bedroom lady, now can be sometimes we may have guests and something may come up and I will need to attend to it. And before I came back, I will see my wife will have discussed, shared many things, entertained our guests and things like that. But it's very, very important for husband and wife to understand that we must not be rigid. It's not like that is me. You know me before you got married to me. That is me. I cannot change. You cannot change me at this age. Actually, it's difficult for people to change. It's very difficult for us to embrace change. But the reality is, with love, certain things can move. And gradually, things will begin to change. But if you want to do it aggressively, you married me and you must conform to who I am, then
It's
that
not going to work.
yeah, that is going to be a serious problem. So things will continue to change. If I begin to tell people that I'm a very shy person, that you are shy, I used to be very shy. Now it's reduced, highly reduced. But I know my wife is very, very shy. But if we are together, forget the shyness. Then we begin to roll and we have a lot of friends. We play with our friends, we mess up with them, different jokes, different things, and extreme plays, not physical play, but with words. And our friends like us that we spend time together. So it's always good to complement one another. And we may eventually get to the level of talking about household, managing income, managing the household, managing the kids, and things like that. But at the surface level and at the relational relationship level, it's very important to know that husband and wife, even they may have different personality, different characteristics, different natures, they can still complement, they can still work together and be complete. And people will still believe that yes, these are the exemplary couple that we are talking about.
Wow. Wow, this is interesting. Thank you very much, Sai and Ma, for sharing with us these practical experiences. Thank you so much, Engineer Yaya. He said, thanks, Doc. 360-degree vision comes from complementing. Exactly. The beauty of our marriages is when couples complement one another, like what Sister Bumi shared and what Bro Fola also shared. The bedroom, the bedroom person has become is now the sitting room person, and then the quiet person has become the husband. It's really, really interesting to see all
I cannot,
these.
I cannot only shake. Now I can hug.
Oh my god. That's the beauty of it. So if you feel, oh, I can't marry this kind of person, you never can tell. When God brings a man and a woman together, God sees the future. He understands what will complement Mr. Brother A and Sister B. And he has a reason. He has a purpose for which he's bringing the both of you together, because he sees already. He's the one that created us and he knows how we will be able to complement one another. But there are still people whose particular problem, their challenge is how they will be able to get together, how they will get along with their partners, because they are looking at, just like the sister Bumi shared, she was looking like, this particular person is not my type. But yet God has arranged it that way, and you both came together as husband and wife. Now, my question now is, for people who are yet to get married, but they are having this challenge already, like, how is it possible? How can I compliment this particular person? Won't I have issues in my marriage if I should start a relationship with this particular individual? Possibly we can share reasons why why, if coming together, what they can achieve.
So
Yes.
we are talking about people that are not even married yet, and they were even afraid of how can I complement, how can I be a complete. So we need to come from this side and from this mindset that marriage, going into marriage, is by faith. Nobody knows the future. You may understand somebody based on your basic knowledge. You have not actually experienced the person because you have not lived together. You are just understanding them at the superficial level, at the face level, which may not be the deep level where you should be. So it's actually going to be by faith. When you love somebody, when God has put the love of a man on you in your heart and you're in a relationship, then you need to work and grow that relationship. When God has put the love of a sister on your heart, you need to trust God for the strength to grow the relationship. So that is very, very important, and that is what we need to as Christians. That if God wants us to get married to a person, if you're in a relationship with somebody, we should understand that God will give the grace for you to balance everything that has to be balanced. That doesn't mean that there are not discussions that you need to have before you get married. You need to have some discussions that will make it that will at least bring some sense of peace that things are workable and both of you can understand one another. But if brother A is speaking at the this high frequency, and sister B is always saying from the low frequency, there may be challenge if certain things are not discussed at the time. So it's very, very important for brother and sister to sit down to have certain issues that may be like concerns. And you don't need to be about, am I compatible? Compatibility is very, very good. You need to be concerned about that, but don't let it be a store shopper for you. Don't let it be a situation where you are just worried. You are not even thinking about is this something that we can solve, that can be solved? Is this something that we can walk through? But if you have been able to go through that, you know that, oh, this is not solvable, then we need to part way and everybody needs to move on. So those are the things that a brother and a sister needs to look into. That are we able to understand one another? If you are able to understand one another, then any challenges that may come, we are going to overcome it together. But don't sit down and be saying that, oh, is it going to work? And at the end of the day, the worry kills chance of the relationship to progress.
So I want to come in from that point that you finish with. The Bible even say, don't be anxious for anything. So there's a difference between having compatibility issues and having anxiety over uncertainty in a relationship. Because like my husband said, nobody knows tomorrow. And I remember a quote that is very popular in my church when I was growing up. They say that marriage is a dark business or something. Well, let me use machine learning language now. Marriage is like a black box. Like a little part of it is like you don't fully understand what is going to happen because you are not yet in tomorrow, you are just in today. So you don't have the absolute control over that. And that is the reason why we depend on God and counsel of older people to make our decisions. Now, when you have done that, anxiety is not godly. Anxiety is killing. And Jesus even said, how many of you are by worry at just 1 qubit, just a second to the time that you are going to spend on that? So nobody should entertain anxiety. Anxiety is not godly. So we should make every effort to get it out of our life as long as our minds immediately the devil is trying to sow that tear. But I also want us to talk about what actually helps with complementing one another. And that is the love and the respect you have for one another.
Yeah.
So you should be able to love this person enough or love on this person enough that they see from your own point of view. So let me give an example of like a practical example of what can work. And for example, um, let's assume my husband is a friend person. In fact, literally, a definition of friendship for me before we got married was different from what definition of friendship is now. So for me, friendship is a commitment He's not having just a companion, somebody in my class. I don't consider that person before time as a friend, because once you have entered that class of being a friend, you have a special place in my life beyond other people. And so if I don't talk to my friend for a year and a half, for me, I don't believe we are no more friends. Like, I believe we are still friends. We have just not had time to talk to one another. Like, anytime we connect again, oh, my friend, we are talking, we are chatting. That is a kind of friendship. So, if you ask me, do you have friends? I have very limited people that will come into that sphere. But for my husband, he has a lot of friends. And some of his friends, I'm thinking, it's not that you guys are really having some special connection. You are just companions. And if you know me well and my husband will say just put grammar on everything. A companion. The relationship is relationship. That's the kind of person he is. So I can take some things really seriously. But for him, I will consider him as not taking things seriously. But that is not to say he is that. It is just my own definition. I just seem to take life too seriously, which is different, right? But essentially, if you look at it, at the tip of it is the same. Now, the love I have for this person, the love that he shows to me, helped me to walk into that sphere of also seeing things in that way. Like, actually, I think you are taking things seriously. This is not, and even now, I think to some extent, I'm the one that is not taking some things seriously compared to him now about some things, because I've changed in that regard. So you need to consider, if you're a single person, do you love this person? Does this person love you? Do you respect this person? Does this person respect you? Because those things are very important. See, when we are able to use those two weapons of loving and respecting, making somebody feel human, and not like the example he gave, like, this is me, you have to do this for me. Now, of course, a natural person, a wall will just stand up immediately, because you are trampling on the person's personality. But as long as I'm able to see that this is for us, it is not just about for him, then it's easier for us to work with one another. For example, I want to bring in some form of career complementing now. Now, my bachelor's was in chemistry. We do laboratory work. Now, his was in computer. Now, I love most of the people around him also do computer. And gradually, I started loving the tech world. Like, sit down with them, try to do some computer things. But when it comes to hardware, using screwdriver, doing all of those things, they know I don't cross that line. If it is about software, like you're talking computer programs, I enjoy such gist. Now, in without knowing it, I carved out that niche for myself in a way. When it comes to this screwdriver, I work with them. I work with this company for a while. I don't think I ever opened the computer, like open it, put the hard disk, scrub something. It wasn't just my thing. But when it comes to, oh, they are doing installation, I can follow on and be like, okay, you are just clicking next and things like that. But after we got married and things began to grow, I knew that going to the laboratory, spending time in the laboratory is going to be a challenge for a married person that I was then. Like, I had some other friends in chemistry, we talked together, and one of my friends said he has already told his advisor that this PhD, it is when it comes, because she cannot sacrifice our family for laboratory work, which you expect of me. But for me, I don't have, like, gradually with working with him, the love for chemistry has even diminished to a level that I can say, you know what, let me just stick something in computer. So, but it wasn't that he told me when we got married that I really don't even like this computer, this chemistry thing you are doing. It's better you learn this, because if you don't learn it, you cannot have time, or no, that will not work. But we worked together in agreement to a level that I found myself in his field. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm just trying to say that the love and the respecting makes complementing one another works,
Yeah.
makes it easy, because it is not a forceful push.
Yeah.
It is a thing that just takes like its natural course. rather than just pushing on one another.
I want
Hmm.
to add something if the host does not mind. I want to add something to the love and respect thing, and that is high level of trust. Trust. If trust is missing in relationship, then there will be problem, serious problem. I remember sometimes. So if let me quickly put this together this way before I share, before I make this illustration I want to make. Marriage is all about faith, is all about trust, is all about love, is all about respect, is all about believing in one another. If husband and wife have not gotten to the level that they believe that they are pursuing the same thing, then there will be serious lapses. When we were in the graduate school, we were working for the same boss, we were working in the same office. So um funny enough, we are only the two Nigerians there. We have the Chinese guys, we have the
Okay.
Indians, we have the Taiwanese. So I used to go out with one Taiwanese guy and an India for lunch. We go to the restaurant to buy lunch. My wife does not really eat in the restaurant. She doesn't do that. So most of the time she's just staying back in the office,
I'm a village
continue
girl.
she continues to work. So then my Taiwanese friend is a very close friend. We work together even now, and I love him and things like that. So we come back and we'll be making fun of my wife and be telling her that you are making money, your husband is spending money. So he will be pulling her leg that you are just sitting here working and working, making the money, and your husband is going out blowing the money, and we all just laugh about it. But that kind of joke can trigger something else in some other people. Oh, if you are spending this money at the restaurant, then I need my portion of that money. Even if I'm not going to the restaurant, I want to be keeping my money. No,
Honestly,
that was
honestly.
yeah, that was not the situation. Now I want to point something out to you.
Mm,
That is very, very important. Complementing one another is key, strong key. I make sure that I support all the efforts of my wife to grow, and he supported me too. I remember an exam she wrote last year. I was on her neck till she wrote that exam. It was a computer certification exam, and it was very tough on her. At that time, she was very busy with her job, and she had to study for this exam, and the exam was tough. When she finished the exam,
I told him, don't ever encourage me to write this exam again. Don't ever. I don't want to write this exam.
she
oh my
blew
god.
up and she was like, "Don't ever encourage me." I was just laughing. She passed the exam, but it
Wow.
was under a serious tension. She passed, but she said, "Don't ever, don't ever." 3 days ago, she wrote another cybersecurity exam.
Wow.
And she
This is
passed.
beautiful.
But last year, I can remember that vividly. Now I supported her, I encouraged her. Sometimes
Mm.
I will be doing some stylish word like, no, you are not born to be a failure. You can't just start and stop. You just have to finish it. Those words, I will just be pumping it in. And she was doing it. And sincerely, she's making the money and I'm blowing the money. But what I want to bring out is currently,
Mm.
currently, the salary that she has, the salary that she has,
What is
I used
going
to make a
on?
joke that she can pay me. She can pay me.
Wow.
That she can- but then I'm encouraging her. She's encouraging me because
Mm,
we have that mindset of completeness. We
mm,
have the mindset that whatever I'm making from either my business or from my job or anything is for the family.
mm,
Whatever she's making is for the family, for God, for the betterment of this world, and relative, for friends. So we have common purpose, we have common belief, and we are not pursuing individual agenda in the same single marriage.
mm,
Many of us want to maintain home, want to maintain a strong marriage, and we are pursuing individual agenda.
mm,
Things do not work that way. So there should be level of strong trust, love, and respect.
I
Wow.
also want to chip it in that, especially in finances, we should not, I will say that whichever kind of growth we want to have, we should ensure that both of us are growing, our minds are growing the same way. Because if our minds don't grow the same way, we will continue to see things differently. And that is very, very important. Like if you listen to a minister of God, let me use a Nigerian example. Let's say that I'm an Holukoya person. I listen to David Olukoya. I
Yeah, Daniel Lukoya
that
message. Amen.
Dr. DK Olukoya. Let's assume that that's the only person I listen to. I follow. I do this. I do that. Now, and my husband is Dr. Bishop Oyedepo person, saying that he listens to Oyedepo every time, every time, every time. Now, the thing is, for him, most of the time, his own thing will be like faith moved, like just move on, let's just do it, that kind of a thing. For me, I will be looking at, the devil has come here, we need to shut the devil down, we need to pray about this, we need to fast on this, we need to do video on this, like don't finish them before they finish you. And the thing is, Bishop Oyedepo and Dr. David Olukaya,
Dr. Daniel Lukoya.
Daniel Olukoya, are both ministers of God. They are both into ministry. They are both like, if we listen to both of them together, we'll become better Christians, right? Because you actually need faith for those for you to be able to move on. I don't know how well to
Yeah.
say it, but sometimes some people's mind are just fixated on just one thing. So if we are consuming just a single material and we don't complement complement that, our minds will not grow
We'll be narrow
in
minded.
wholeness. Yes, that's the, we'll be narrow minded. And as long as we are narrow minded, we only see things from our own little way. So husband and wife should pursue that, pursue expansion, pursue mind growth, because it is that mind growth that is going to help us. I don't know how much time we still have, but I want us to, financial is also very important. So from home, where we do financially complement one another, it can be a challenge.
Yeah.
And when we form our own marriage, we should have that mindset as well. That in finances, we should complement one another. Myself and my husband were some sort of like joking this morning, and he was saying the husband should take care of the wife or some sort of, how did he even say it? Like this common way of my husband should be able to take care of me, and I'm like, yes, really. My husband should be able to take care of me. Like he's the head of the home. He should carry the body. He
Yeah.
should, yes, I think that is.
Your husband should even be able to wear clothes for you.
Yes, he
Uh,
should carry the burden. He should take care of me. But that is not to say that the wife should say, because this is, because I'm working and this is my own money, I should keep it to myself. Because I see couples who relate that way.
yeah.
That the husband is the one handling everything, paying children tuition,
Bills.
paying bills,
Mhm.
doing everything, and wife is making the money to buy shoes and shirt and skirts and look good and stuff like that. That is not godly, I think.
Yeah.
This is our home. These are our children. Like, now, my dad and my mom were not living on a common purse, like, because my dad was even like far more like different from,
And it's a polygamous setting.
yes, and it's a polygamous setting as well. But I don't see my mom say you cannot have this if your daddy does not provide it. I like, that line was still not drawn. Like there's still a way. So it's not everybody that can do the common posting. It's not everybody that has just that mindset. And they are not, they are not bad.
Yeah.
Let me say it that
Not
way.
to come.
Yes, it is what works for your family that you should work with.
Yeah.
If what works for your family is, I have my own money, you have your own money, do it. But it shouldn't be that you don't have a common goal. It is not that mommy is building a house and,
That is also building one.
or daddy is also building one, or daddy is paying all this tuition, and mommy is like, if your daddy does not pay, sorry, oh, there's no money. Like, I don't know the kind of message I'm going to get, even if I'm a child in that home. That my I husband and wife should complement one another. I think that should be the baseline. You should do what works for you, but it should be a home.
Let me add briefly to that so that we remain clear about this. When you are getting into a marriage, forget about the baggage you are bringing from your past. Forget about how your parents, I'm not saying completely forget about it, but I'm saying that don't go with that mentality that the way my home was run is the way I want me and my wife or me and my husband to run our home family. No. Think about good things that your parents were doing.
Mhm.
Discuss it with your husband or your wife that I like this that my parents were doing. Can it work for us? Let's try it. I don't like this my parents were doing. Can we excuse it from our own home? Yes, let's try it. Experiment. When we are talking about, oh, some people are coming from a family where there is a joint account and the mother was suffering.
Yeah.
And the
Mm.
mother was always begging the husband that, please, I need money for this, I need money for that. A daughter that grew up in that kind of relationship will not want a joint account when she gets married. Joint account may be right, but if it's not properly managed,
Yeah.
it may lead to a lot of damages. So communication is very, very important. Separate account may be very fine and perfect, but if it's also not managed well, the family will suffer.
Mhm.
So it's always good for people that are intending to marry and settle down to sit down. Let's experiment this. Let's try this. Myself and my wife agreed on the kind of we agreed on the method we want to use to manage our finances, such that she will not be limited and I will not be limited. It our case will not be like, oh, daddy is almost home. When daddy is home, we have money. And I will not be saying, when mommy releases our money, we have enough. It got into a level that some married people, some women will be making investment for the children, and the husband will not know about it.
Mm.
Some husband will be keeping some money separate that they will not want the wife to know about. You are not helping the family. The family will not progress. The family will make gradual progress when they could have made rapid progress.
Mhm.
So if you are joining your mind together, please forget about the errors of your parents. You can learn from those errors, but don't let those errors become a limitation for what your family can achieve. That is my own other contribution to it.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. It's really been an interesting discussion, guys. Don't hesitate to share this video with people around you, your colleagues at work, your siblings, and any other person that you know can benefit greatly from this amazing discussion. Like Star Bumi and Brofola shared the issue of uh, the basics, which is love, trust, love, trust, and respect. Once you have these three things, I think it makes it easier for you to compliment your spouse. Using this example where the husband doesn't really like to communicate with the in-laws, and the wife is the only in-laws, and meanwhile the family.
I don't think we can hear you anymore. I don't know if it's from the air or from your side, but we are not hearing your voice, but you can see your video. So I guess it may be the same for the online participants. The voice is gone. We
And
cannot hear
she
you.
can hear, I believe.
Yeah, I believe she can hear us. Yeah.
Yes, we can hear it now.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can
Yes.
hear you clearly now. It has gone again.
No, I think it's a delay.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. actually touching on a very wonderful aspect of this discussion. Uh,
Oh, can you hear me
yeah,
now? All right,
it came
okay.
in briefly. Yeah, we can hear you clearly now.
All right, okay, okay. We're really very sorry for
Yeah.
that, guys. Okay, so I was
Oh,
trying to say that the issue of love, respect, and trust, when it's there, it makes it easier for you to complement each other. Like, and I was trying to cite an example where maybe the husband or the wife doesn't really relate more with the in-laws, and the in-laws are always complaining, oh, we don't really get to hear from your wife. What happened? We send her messages, she doesn't respond. We call your husband, he doesn't respond. He doesn't really communicate with us. Is there any issue? So when the love is there, when the respect is there, when the trust is there, I think like Sister Bumi and Brofola shared earlier, that before you know it, both of you you begin to come together because of the love you have for each other, because you have a common goal. This makes it easier for you. Fine, I'm married to your family. I am obliged. This is my responsibility to flow along. So in this kind of, I'm just trying to, like, I'm trying to like apply what Sister Bumi and Brofola share, that this will really, really help you as the husband or the wife to actually achieve this common goal. And seriously, it also helps to make peace even in the home. So, wow, it's really been an interesting discussion so far, guys. And as we bring the discussion today to a close, let's just hear briefly from our guest, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji. Something to talk in with for our viewers out there. Over to you, sir, and Ma.
yeah. So what I want to finish with is to say that when a man wants to marry a woman or a woman wants to marry a man, there is always an excitement around this. It's as if you are carrying a balloon into the relationship. It's as if butterfly is jumping inside you. Yeah, you get into the marriage, certain challenges begin to show up. Make sure you don't burst your balloon. Don't allow those challenges to burst your balloon. Keep the excitement flowing. The excitement will help you to overcome all those challenges. If the balloon is busted, it will be very tough to get it back together. So, no matter the challenges you face, no matter the problem you begin to see, even when you get into the marriage, let the balloon keep you floating. Let it keep you going on, and you will eventually be able to overcome all those challenges.
Yeah, I think the take home for me that I will encourage us to do is whatever thing you want others to do to you, do unto them. If you want your husband to believe in you, believe in him. If you want him to spend time with you, spend time with him. If you want him to like communicate with your mom, communicate with his mom. Like whatever thing, like put yourself in other people's shoes, and that is going to help us to have like the right perspective.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir and Ma, for that brave conclusion. And guys, on this note, we'll be bringing this discussion today to a close. Don't forget to share this video with your friends, your colleagues, your siblings, and any other person that will benefit greatly from this discussion. And on this note, guys, we wish you a wonderful month of April. Stay safe, stay blessed. To come your way again. Keep watching Jinsei Matters with Roy. Thank you very much, sir and Ma, for the privilege to have you with us on the show today. Really appreciate your time, and we've benefited greatly from your wealth of experience. Thank you very much, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji. And to all our viewers out there, to come your way again, still Jinsei Matters with Roy. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
God bless you.